And we're on. Hello and welcome to podcast episode 88 of Rope Boxing, where the 2 days being a big preview episode of the weekends, should I say, boxing ahead. David Boy, saw you Monday. How's your week been, brother?
Busy, mate. Wrapping up for Christmas. Works, yeah. Manic. I was rushing back tonight to get back to do this. Nothing major, mate, since I spoke to you last. It was like a couple of days ago.
All good. Just busy then. Christmas period coming up.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
the line of work you're involved in, it's going to be busy, isn't it? My job, your job.
I'm flat out all the time. But I was just going to say a little bit of news here. Did you see that Uncle Turkey's been purchasing other assets in the boxing world? Have you seen this today?
Apart from the Ring magazine, I know about that, obviously.
Yeah, but you see Michael Benson, who does the boxing news sort of stuff.
Yeah, everybody's go-to guy.
Yeah, he's now. If you go and look at his page now, it's now called the Ring magazine. He's actually bought out Michael Benson's Twitter.
Has he?
Now called the Ring magazine Twitter. Yeah, Michael Benson's not no more. It's now Ring magazine, and like the news bits that was on there. Yeah, so yeah. He's buying people's Twitter accounts. Soon enough, he'll buy our podcast. That'd be handy. We still got to work on it though. Yeah. I mean, the starting price is $1 million.
Yeah, he's changing the game, isn't he? Literally, not just in the ring, but out of it, mate. Fucking hell.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that. I'll have to have a nosy at that in a bit.
Yeah, you type in Michael Benson now, the Ring magazine comes up.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you go, mate. See, listen, this is why David McDonald is what he is, because he has his finger on the pulse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. To be fair, hopefully the Ring magazine content's better, because Michael Benson, even though he's the go-to guy, like we just said, he'll bring up tweets from Floyd Mayweather about 5 or 6 years ago, which are irrelevant to what's happening in the boxing world today. So
he's posted that picture of Muhammad Ali's grandson about
48 times. Yeah. There we go, mate.
But anyway, he's now owned by Uncle Turkey. Uncle Turkey's buying everything. Twitter accounts a lot.
Well, he's got our address and he's got our handle. So if he ever wants to get in touch and buys this, he's more than welcome to. And we'll just start a fresh one.
I'm sure we can afford 50p to buy this.
Definitely, mate. Oh, talking of money, before we crack into this weekend's previews, UFC tickets.
Yeah.
Now, I put my holidays in this year. Anyone who doesn't know, I'm like to meet up with Dave and the boys. You'll see the boys on Monday for an episode of Usyk and Fury preview. I've mentioned that before. I like to go down and see the boys every now and again, so I have to put my holidays in advance to know when I'm going down. So March the 22nd next year, we've got UFC London coming to town, and me and Dave and Paul McGrath fancied a bit of that. Lovely. I know the ticket's going to be expensive. I totally get it, but I had a budget of about £150. In the week, I went onto the website because I've got priority tickets so I can get them on the 22nd of January rather than the 24th. And guess how much the starting prices are, Dave, for In the Gods?
200 quid. Let me throw it out
there. Keep going, brother.
300 quid.
Keep going, brother.
400 quid.
No, a bit less. £337 minimum. Goes all the way up to £2,695 to be precise. Now, I like the UFC, but I don't like it that much. Fuck that. I ain't paying that.
That's madness. When I paid £70, did I pay £70 for AJ Dubois? I was the highest seat in the stadium, granted, but it was 140 quid for me and Alf. You know, it was a great atmosphere. Something you live with forever. But £335 per person is ridiculous. I was going to take Alf for you as well.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that. I knew it was going to be pricey. They've moaned about prices in the past, about UK fans, but because they only come over once or twice a year, if that, I don't really know because I'm not a devout follower of MMA. I like to dip my toe, so I don't even know half the people on it. It would just been a nice experience to go on there, review with a couple of boys and have a beer and whatnot. But I'm not paying £337 to sit up in the gods and watch people I don't know. Sorry, not for me. Hopefully, there's a boxing event on 22nd of March, Dave, down in London or somewhere that we can pay half the price to go and watch, you know. Yeah,
if you're happy to pay £150, you can watch me and Alfie have the rematch. My nose.
Yeah, ringside seats as well.
Yeah, you can have ringside seats, and that'd be over in seconds when I bash his head in.
Yeah,
but it'd be well spent.
Speaking of, again, just quickly as I like to say on here, you talk about finishing in seconds. Not sexually, obviously. We're talking about fighting. Justice Hooney yesterday. Justice Hooney yesterday morning. Did you catch any of the 2 rounds he destroyed his opponent in, mate?
I did. I watched. I did see it. Yeah, I don't know what his opponent was doing, but he wasn't throwing any shots. I know that.
No, big old lump, wasn't
he? He was a big boy. Yeah, I don't know what that was. He'll keep busy. Okay.
Reason I mentioned him, mate. We were talking about Richard Torres Jr. on
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah.
Whether Top Rank, and I'm not sure what promoter he's with. Is he with Matchroom? I'm not too sure. Whoever his promoter is with, I don't know if they'd match him just yet, but I reckon it'd be a decent fight between them two.
That would be a good scrap. Yeah, that would be a good scrap.
It would, yeah. Yeah. And talking of fights, we're talking Prediction League fights. I'm going to surprise you guys. So anybody who's a devout follower of this podcast will know who won the battle last week. But the war is not over. So let's crack into to Prediction League from last week, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go with my banners. So going into last weekend's action, I was on 354 points. Dave is leading as usual with a 28 point gap, should I say, of a score of 379. There was a maximum of 30 points to pick up last week. So let's see how we got on. So we had Emmanuel Navarrete versus Oscar Valdez. I've got my notes up there, so I'm looking up there, guys. Oscar Valdez against Navarrete, should I say. We both went for Navarrete on points, so that's just a point there, a point apiece there, because we both went for KO. Espinoza versus Ramirez. Again, both went for Espinoza. Dave went on points. I went for the knockout in round 10. Got it done in 6. So that's 3 points for me. Parra versus Hitchens. Dave went for Parra on points. I went for Hitchens on points. So that's another 3 points for me. Nothing for Dave there. And the same went for Brad Pauls against Denzel Bentley. Dave went for Pauls on points. So there's 0 there. And I went for Bentley by KO. But obviously it went the distance. So I'll pick up the point there. And last but not least, Manuel Char versus the new heavyweight champion of the world, Kubrat Pulev. Dave went for old Manny Char by a KO in round 4. And I picked up another 3 points by going for Mr. Pulev on points, which takes me to another 3 points. So if you can keep up with my voice and you can keep up with the scores, last weekend's results were David Holland, a measly 2 points for the second week running. Don't know what's going on with you, brother. But for me, I picked up a lovely 11 points, which now makes the scores Dave G 365, David Holland 381, and I've closed that motherfucker gap again, this time to 16 points. And this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, there's 36 points up for grabs with 2 weekends left before we go into the new year. Can I do it? Yes, I can. Dave fell another stinker, brother. Even though I've had a really good weekend, you've had 2 stinkers on the trot.
I'll tell you what I've got. I've got Anthony Joshua's endurance to do 12 rounds. I'm falling off in the championship rounds here.
It's all up here, mate, isn't it? You've got the skills to pay the bills.
What it is. It's all the oxygen in my muscles. I just can't go 12 rounds. But I'm gonna have to start. Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have to tuck up. Take a couple of rounds off. Get on my bike a little bit, do a little bit on there, and just box clever, just to see this out for the remaining 2 weeks. Just to push this over the line, because it'd be a travesty if I blow this. I've been miles ahead.
I think the highest you were winning by, a leader by, was it 30 or 31 points, something like that, wasn't it? Yeah. At one stage. So let's see how we get on this weekend, man. All to play for. So Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen, there's a few on Saturday and there's one to pick out on Sunday. Jaime Munguia versus Bruno Surace. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. He's a French dude, so we'll just go with a Surace or Surac, however you want to say it. This is a fight over in Tijuana, Mexico, Munguia's hometown. He's the former middleweight champion of the world, Munguia. He's taken on this French guy who is unbeaten over 10 rounds, and which looks like an all-Mexican card. It's a second fight for Munguia under Top Rank. We saw him a few months ago destroying Eric Bazinian, who was also undefeated. And it's his 4th fight this year, Jaime Munguia. So he's putting a lot of champions to shame, because he's keeping busy, irrelevant of the opponent he's taken on. Yes, he's fought John Ryder, which is washed. He fought Canelo, got knocked down, but went the full 12 rounds of him. No disgrace there. He's keeping busy, he's keeping active, and he's earning. And I like to see fighters do this. Just quickly onto his opponent, Dave. He's the current super middleweight European champion, the proper one, the EBU belt holder. He's 25-0. He's got 2 draws on his record, but he's only got the 4 knockouts, which to me suggests he's a bit of a boxer and not really a puncher. Hasn't fought out of France. He's been inactive for a year, and now he's going in after a year's absence against an ex-world champion who throws like fuck. He's got 35 KOs on his records, and as I said, his only defeat was to Canelo. And to sum it up, mate, for this one's pretty easy. The bookies are giving 33-1 on for Jaime Munguia to destroy Bruno Surace. in this fight. So yeah, I've kind of answered my own question, even though I didn't answer a question. How do you see this one going, brother? 33-1 on is a quite telling.
Yeah, it's almost like it's another keep busy. We just spoke about one just there, like, and you know what? Fair enough. Listen, we like active fighters. My only issue, and I don't want to rain on anyone's sort of parade, but my only concern is that with being with Top Rank. I mean, how many more are we going to get of these? Are we going to have like a Yanni Beck situation here where it's difficult to get him credible names? Are we going to, how many more fights are we going to have where we don't really know the opponent? That's my only, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. That's my only issue when I see this, fight come up. What do you think of that before I go on to predict?
Well, I would tend to agree with you, but you probably know yourself. It's obviously the news came out after David McDonald on Monday.
Yeah.
That one of the I can't remember which sanctioning body it is are going to or have ordered Jaime Munguia to face Christian Mbili in an eliminator, which is what is music to my ears. I saw some people on Twitter sort of poo-pooing it and saying it's a crap fight and it shouldn't be. I've got no idea. Like you've just said there, don't get me wrong, this is an opponent that hasn't fought out of France. He's unbeaten. He's never been a bit like Evan Bazinian from Canada that he fought last time out. Is it a tick over? Is it a keep busy? I like that kind of thing. But he's getting in there with somebody that's got more jeopardy than these opponents that he has been facing in Christian Mbili. Let's hope that fight goes on. That's a fight I 100% want to see. And the quicker Canelo sort of fucks off and, and sanctioning bodies make him defend those belts, then we're going to keep getting eliminators after eliminators. But the pool of talent in there, it's got to be your Mbilis, it's got to be your Pacheco's, it's got to be your Caleb Plants. So yeah, I'm up for it. But going back to your original question, mate, I don't know, and I don't mind. He's had enough padding out now with Golden Boy, Bob, and Top Rank, and is it Tom Lofield that does most of the work for Top Rank now? They can't pad his record out to 80-1 now.
Yeah,
he needs challenges, and then I think this might be because it's in his hometown as well, David, Tijuana. It might be it's an all Mexican card. Right, let's get you out for 10 rounds, make a statement, have a bit of a show, get the fans on side, knock him out. Right, 2025, Christian Mbili, Caleb Plant, world title shots again. Let's go. So yeah, as yet.
Yeah, I hope that, but just top rank and their matchmaking worries me a little bit.
Yes, all in house.
That's why I put it to you. And I'm gonna do an Adam Miller that we used to do on a Phoenix fight. I'm gonna flip it. Remember he used to say that.
He'll say that Monday.
Hopefully something that you said before about sanctioning bodies calling fights. It means nothing until there's a press conference and stuff like that. Because the amount of fights we've had called that doesn't happen, purse bids and all that. But anyway, let's not poo-poo it. Jaime again is a great fighter. He's heavy favourite in this fight. He's got all the backing of the Mexican fans. It's a keep busy fight. Fantastic. I think he goes through this guy like a dose of salts. I'm going to use your one there as well. And I think he wipes him out in round 3. Hamilton guy, bosh.
Yeah, I'm going the same way, mate. I think it might go a bit longer. This guy's obviously, as I say, he's a boxer. He can obviously navigate his way around the ring, but against this level of opponent, he's never been in with anyone like Jaime Munguia. So yeah, I'm going to go round 5 before he gets to him. The pressure might be too much for him, but yeah. Just quickly on this card as well. It's an all Mexican card. David Alan Picasso's on there, ladies and gentlemen. He's the guy that's been rumoured to fight Anaya Inoue next after Sam Goodman. He's another active fighter. Just said Munguia is fighting for the 4th time this year. Picasso's fighting for the 5th time this year. Which I like to see. I still stand by what I say, even though he's ranked on box records Mexico's #1 super bantamweight. To me, he hasn't done anything yet to warrant being in the ring with Anaya Inoue. The guy that I believe is fighting this weekend, which we'll crack on with him in a bit. But this again is very telling, Dave. I just said he doesn't have any right, really, in my opinion, to be in with Anaya Inoue. Even though he's winning his fights, he's getting knockouts and things like that. He's fighting an opponent at the weekend where he's 50-1 on. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, exactly. That's what worries me with top ranks and stuff. I do worry about top rank matchmaking, I do. But anyway, that's for another day.
It's for another day. But good luck to all those guys over there in Tijuana on Saturday. So we'll jump over to the States, as you can see there, guys. Don't know for audio listeners. It says Alexis Rocha versus Raul Curiel. This is in Ontario, California, to be precise. 25-2 welterweight contender Alexis Rocha. He's back in action this weekend. This is his 3rd fight of the year after his rebuild, but he's on a rebuild, isn't he? He's trying to get himself back into the mix at 147 after he was absolutely destroyed and mauled by Giovanni Santillan, who we spoke about last week. Remember when me and you done that fight, he was the favourite going into that. It was supposed to be a step up for him, but he was supposed to come through it, look good and get the job done, which obviously didn't happen. Had a couple of fights in between. Since then, Alexis Rocha says on the rebuild, he stopped Frederick Lawson, just like Santillan did last week, but he done it in 7. Santillan obviously stopped him in 1 round. But I've had a bit of a look at this fight, Dave. I like Alexis Rocha. I like what he's about. He's a punch, but to me, he's a boxer puncher. If he wants to get drawn into a war, he will, but it's very risky for him. And this guy, Raul Curiel, I don't know how much you've seen of him, Dave. Yeah. He's nearly a carbon copy of Santillan. The only difference between the two guys, they're both stalkers, they both come forward, they both throw like fuck, they've got both heavy-handed. The difference with Curiel and Santillan, Curiel's a bit more reckless. And I'm smelling an upset, Dave. I'm smelling an upset for the end of the year. I think he might take 2 steps back, Rocha. I don't like this fight for him. I really don't.
Are you doing a Mexican pull out your ass on the last 2 weeks of the prediction league? Yeah, I
think I am. Something's telling me that Alexis Rocha is going to get drawn into a fist fight, a firefight, and it's going to come off worse like he did against Santillan. I don't like this fight for him. I've got to admit, this is good matchmaking, but it's risky matchmaking. This does nothing for Rocha if he loses.
Go on, do it.
I will. I'm going to do it before you come in. Alexis Rocha, I hope you win. I like Alexis Rocha. I hope he gets himself into that mix. He's an exciting fighter. He can punch and he can box, but this is high risk, low reward. And I think Lightning's going to strike twice. I'm going to go for Raul Curiel to knock out Alexis Rocha in round number 9.
Oh wow, that's big boy. You know what you've done here? You've got too confident in your last 2 weeks of predicting. you're getting reckless here. You're getting fucking reckless.
I am. I tell you what, if Rocha gets reckless, mate, it's going to cost him. I tell you.
Yeah, listen, there's definitely jeopardy in this fight. I totally agree. He's had 15 fights, Curiel, and 15 wins and 13 knockouts. That's not to be sniffed at. But I think that Alexis Rocha will have learned from Santillan. I mean, it'd be silly not to.
I hope so.
Yeah, it'd be silly not to. And I think he'll show his class, his boxing ability. I don't think he will get drawn into a fight here. He's in a fight where he knows there's jeopardy here. I think he's going to navigate himself around the ring to avoid silliness. For me, I don't think he's going to get drawn into anything, any macho stuff. And I think he's going to show his quality. He's going to be up on his toes. I think he's going to box clever and box smart, which is what he should do if he wants to win. And I think he's going to win on the points. I think he's going to. I think Rocha's going to. I'm not going to say masterclass, but I think he's going to show his class over Raul Curiel, and I think that he will box his way to a nice points win.
Nice to see it, but this guy, I'd never heard of him. Obviously, he's a Mexican, boxes in Mexico. A lot of his fights. He looks a bit of a dog. To be honest, mate, he's just
to be fair to you, Dave. These are the sort of Mexican arse pullers that I go for.
So which I'm surprised you haven't gone for Curiel.
You know what? If you would have probably gone to Rocha, I might have looked at it and thought. But I'm gonna give you your glory here, because you've not Mexican arse pulled once yet. So I'm gonna let you have one here. If in fact it happens, which it won't, because I've just predicted Rocha. But you've had a crack at it.
You're going to let me have fun, yeah. I hope Curiel lets me have it as well.
Yeah, never know, mate. That's what's the beauty of the sport we love, mate. Anything can happen.
It could turn into fight of the weekend,
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if Rocha starts trading. Yeah, it's very interesting. Don't hook with a hooker, motherfucker. Do not hook with a hooker. Like just said.
That's what Hugh.
That's the Santillan fight, and he does.
That's what Hugh Grant said in the 90s, wasn't
it? Yeah, and he got caught.
He did.
He got caught, mate.
Swift with a swift left.
Mate, how did he cheat on Elizabeth Early? I mean, she's better looking. I know she's better looking now than she's ever been, but Jesus, come on. We've all got our,
that's for a different podcast, mate.
For a different podcast, yeah. Yeah, we're talking about boxing hooking, not literally. Yeah. Anyway, I did mention about David Allen Picasso on the top rank cards. Obviously, this is a Golden Boy card. Just want to mention American Charles Conwell. He's out on this card. Another exciting Black American prospect at 154. Keep an eye on him, ladies and gentlemen. He's looking to make a statement over in California as well. So our next fight, we jump over to the UK. Exhibition Centre Liverpool is the destination. The IBF welterweight champion Natasha Jonas, Miss GB herself, looks to unify the division as she steps in against the WBC champion in Croatia's Ivana Habazin. Natasha Jonas, Dave, 40 years of age now, round about our age. Well, I'm 42, so I'd say round about our age.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, you're closer to our age than I am. Great medal-winning amateur career, as everyone knows. Two-weight world champion as a pro. Fought Katie Taylor, like most of them, was very unlucky in that fight a few years ago. She went a bit down on the dumps, was on about retiring. She had a child, came back, and she's had a bit of an Indian summer. Got herself into some great title fights. Won a belt. We last saw her back in January against Michaela Meyer, mate. She won a split decision, and I've got to admit, I like Natasha Jonas, but I think most people thought that Michaela Meyer did enough that night to win that.
Yeah, agreed.
Either way, there wasn't a rematch. It didn't happen. Natasha Jonas is now going forward with her career. Obviously, Michaela Meyer has gone in and beat Sandy Ryan, so she's kind of won herself a title. She's here to unify. She's back in her home city. It's a world title fight. It's in Liverpool. It's a nice Christmas present for the Scousers over there. She's in there in the main events. One of her nemesis is fighting on the co-main event, and now this is about what's left for Tasha. She's 40. She hasn't got many years left, but she's, I wouldn't say she's 2.0 day, but she is in an Indian summer. 2025 could be the year where she possibly could pick up all the belts in the division. I don't think she will. I bet it starts on Saturday night for her. She's in with a world champion. I think she comes through this world champion. I think she's going to look good. Nothing against Habazin. I've had a nosy at a record. She's lost to Terry Harper, Clarissa Shields, of all people, when she was down at welterweight, and Cecilia Breakhouse. So when she does step up, even though she's a world champion, I don't want to disrespect her, even when she does step up, she kind of loses to names, and Natasha Jonas is still a name, and I think she'll have plenty to get through her, and then Natasha Jonas moves on and try unify with the other girls in 2025. But yeah, mate, Natasha Jonas at the age of 40, a year closer to you. How do you see this one going on Saturday night, and what do you see the future for Tasha is as well, mate?
I expect Natasha Jonas to put on a bit of a display in front of her home crowd. I'm with you. Ivana has Habazin. Habazin, I'm saying that right? Habazin.
Has been. You call her has been.
Habazin.
Has been. You called her? No.
I would never do that. But So I'll make you right there. We speak about levels within the women, and there's good, there's poor. And then there's elite, really, and Habazin, I would put if we were talking men's, we'd say fringe world level. Yes, she's got a belt. Level, yeah. If she's got a belt, probably, and do not take anything away from her, but she, in her own right. But again, I think she's been put in here with Natasha Jonas. Natasha's going to put a bit of a display on. Everything's in her favour. She's got the home crowd behind her. Scousers are loyal as fuck to Scousers, so she'll have all the cheerleaders out, I'm sure. And I expected to put on a good display. I don't see any sort of jeopardy here. I don't see her being trouble.
No, I don't. Yeah. And it shouldn't be like that, should it? It just should be 50-50. Both two world champions to unify the division. I agree, mate. I don't see any jeopardy. I think she's gonna do it.
I think she is. The future hold is very difficult. 40 years old, I think she needs to be double active next year because there's young bucks coming around, isn't they? That want her title. So I expect her to be out in March, Feb next year. But going on to Saturday night, I don't see there to be in any type of jeopardy. So I think she's going to do the 10 rounds very well, but come out. Show her quality. She's going to be a better technical boxer than Ivana. I expect her to coast to a points win. That's why I'm going to go for. Like I say, I can't see her being in any sort of jeopardy here. And if she does, then I think that'd probably be it. if she doesn't get through this fight on Saturday night, I think she may probably call it. But no, I don't see that anyway. So I'm going for a Natasha Jonas win on point.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. If she does lose, I mean, she loses a belt, and it's a long road back for her, even in a shallow pool of what it is. Probably, you know, Ben Shalom could make a fight between her and Lauren Price, but is that not?
Well, no, I say
Lauren Price would want, is it? Unless she's getting
talking to Lauren Price, you know, that looks like that's the narrative going forward. It's a change in the guard for me. You know, like, yes, Lauren Price is got a world title in her own right, but when it comes to an all British clash with Natasha Jonas, a younger, fresher, fitter, you know, we know what Lauren Price is like. She's got all the abundance of skills. I think if we're talking about the Natasha Jonas calling it a day, it may be forced on her when she comes up against Lauren Price for me.
Well, we talk about Lauren Price now. I'll just give my predictions. Well, I think Natasha Jonas is going to go in there, make a massive statement. She's very aggressive. She's got fast hands, and she'll be looking to give the Scousers and all her fans over in the Northwest a nice extra Christmas present. I think Has-Been's going to be pulled out, or there's going to be a towel coming, or you're going to get an RTD. So I'm going Natasha Jonas by stoppage in round number 8.
Okay, you're going. You are now taking this.
Taking a piss,
bit, yeah.
I am if they come in,
you've got cocky here now.
You'll never live it down, man. You'll never live that down. That's worse than I can't think back in the day. Was it Newcastle Man United? It was at Arsenal Man United. The points gap that they caught. I can't remember which one was worse.
Arsenal caught Man United in '98 by 10 points.
Oh yes, it's worse than that.
Yeah, Man United did do it to Newcastle as well.
Yeah, something like
that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going bold. Am I going bold with this one? Lauren Price versus Bexcy Matues. Right. In my opinion, mate, you've just gone on to Lauren Price, and that's obviously the co-main. For me, she's the best 147-pounder in the female ranks. Is pricey. She's up against a Colombian puncher, as her record suggests, in Bexcy Matues. She hasn't fought out of Colombia. And if you have a look at her resume, there's no names on there, which suggests she's fights Colombian bin women. But as I just said, I think she's 7-0. She's got 6 knockouts or something like that on her record, which is quite rare for women's boxing. So she does pack a punch irrelevant of her opponent she's facing. So for a change, I don't know if this is a voluntary or a mandatory. I don't know if it's for the WBO or IBO. I haven't had a look. I know it's obviously one of Lauren's belts or both belts. There is a little bit of jeopardy here because this girl can punch. But as I've just said, Lauren Price, in my opinion, people can laugh, poo-poo, or agree, she's the best 147-pound fighter on the planet when it comes to the females game. She's up against Lauren Price, is Bexcy. Price is obviously a Commonwealth, European, World and Olympic gold champion. She's the current World and Ring Magazine world champion. We just watched recently, a few months back, Dave, I think it was in the summer, outboxing, outclassing, and stopping a former world champion, multiple world champion in Jessica McCaskill. Now, you mentioned about passing of the torch, and that's literally what happened. Not only did she do all that to her, but she stopped her as well. Yes, it was a stoppage with the eye cut and whatnot, but it was chalk and cheese. The torch had passed, and that night in Cardiff started a new era in the women's division around the welterweights and super welterweights and that kind of scene. So it's quite obvious the way I'm going to go. I do think Bexcy will come and spoil the party. She's come over here for a reason. She's not coming to survive. She's coming to knock Lauren Price out. She's done it to 6 other girls, so to her, Lauren Price is no different. But Lauren Price, as I just said, all her Olympic and amateur background and what she's done in the program, people find her boring. They don't like her style, but they'll still be watching because they're interested in how she navigates her way around this puncher. And she will. The feet, the hand speed, the lateral movement, the feints. Lauren Price has got it all, and that's why I'm high on this girl. And she is the new era. You've got the likes of Jonas, Michaela Myers, Terry Harper, Sandy Ryan, Chantel Cameron. Now, I'm going bold again here, mate. She beats all of them. I'm a super fan of Lauren Price, and she ain't going to let me, and she ain't going to let her fans down on Saturday night. I say Lauren Price. She's not the only thing I take away from Lauren Price. She's not heavy-handed.
Yeah.
She's not even know what she got a stoppage against Jessica McCaskill last time, but I think if my memory serves me right, Dave, there was a bit of a head clash in there as well. But she's a boxer puncher. She's not a puncher. She's not a stalk you down and look for the knockout, which her opponent seems to be. So I'm going straight in there, mate, before you jump on Pricey. Not literally. Lauren Price by unanimous decision, 10 rounds. There you go. She'll get the job done easy.
I'm going to disagree with some of the bits that you said there.
Oh, go on. Good. I'm glad you are.
It's more, and I don't know how many times in the past we've had this where they brought opponents over from wherever countries want, you Africas and that, and they've got some unbelievable knockout ratios. Yet they come and they've got no fundamentals, and you think, how is it? And it's obviously it boils down to who they've boxed. Now this girl's come in. She's got, was it you say 6 or 7 knockouts on her record?
She's had seven wins, 7 fights, 7 wins, 6 knockouts. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I say, we've seen this all before. And then she'll step in the ring, and she'll throw, like, you know, or she'll put her hands up and the front. There's just zero fundamentals. And I feel, you know, I could be wrong, but I feel like that, you know, that's what's going to happen. So when you said the only thing I'd say I disagree with is saying there's jeopardy there. Records would suggest that. Yeah,
could be.
Yeah, a record would suggest it, but you know, the reality is, if this was the second coming of Alicia Baumgardner, we would have heard of her by now. And so I think that, listen, regardless of it is, I'm with you. Lauren Price is amazing. We talk lack of fundamentals with Bexcy Matues, but you know, Lauren Price has got fundamentals in abundance. She's an absolutely brilliant boxer. Yeah, she doesn't, you know, carry too much pop, but you know, not a lot of women do. But you know, if you've got fundamentals that she's got, you go a long way in this sport. Footwork's brilliant, hand speed's brilliant, boxes in and out, doesn't get caught with a lot. And for me, it's going to be an absolute schooling. Yeah, but she might have a knockout punch, but she's not going to land one on Lauren Price. Not for me. And it's going to be, for me, it's going to be an absolute 10-round whitewash for me. She's going to box. It's clinique. She's going to take it to school, and it's going to set up, which I believe, you know, I'm not the only one, to be the narrative of Lauren Price, Natasha Jonas. That's a big fight. That's a headliner early next year. Excuse me. And so yeah, Lauren Price for me, absolute schooling, 10 rounds, 100 to 90.
Yeah, I can see it, mate. Get this one out of the way and then start building your legacy next year. Start unifying, winning all those belts, move up and do the same up there. There's not a lot on this card apart from those two. I've got to be honest. Vidal Riley's on here.
Yeah.
He's coming off a good win against Mikhail Lowell. I kind of like Vidal Riley. He's kind of changing. He was, when he first burst, I won't say he didn't really burst onto the scene. When he first came onto the scene, he had that sort of misfits, influencer, KSI sort of tag over his head, didn't he? And he's gone away and he's gone, nah, fuck that. I want to be a proper boxer. He's gone in there with boxers around about the same record as him. Obviously, Mikhail Lowell's been around a bit longer.
Is that Mikhail Lowell from Shepherd's Bush?
Yeah, the very same. So I like Vidal Riley. I like what he's doing. He's taking it seriously, unlike the likes of Jake Paul and some of these other guys. So yeah, good luck to him. That's over in Liverpool. We'll jump over to Monaco now. We'll jump over to Monte Carlo. Dinner jackets, dicky bows, small crowds. There's not normally a lot. There is no about 1,500, whatever it is. Chandeliers all over the place. Very la-di-da, very posh. Matchroom do this on the regularly once a year down in the south of France. And Eddie Hearn's serving up this opponent here, MJ Akhmadaliev, for the masses to watch on Saturday night. He takes on a big punching Mexican. We're talking about arse pulling in Ricardo Franco, over 12 rounds, which is weird because there's no title, I believe, involved here. So it's just a 12-round fight. He's looking to showcase, I think, Akhmadaliev, Dave. Well, we spoke about him a lot on there, but we haven't ever reviewed any of his fights. He's been inactive. I don't know what's happened with him. I think he had a fight back end of last year. I haven't got box rec in front of me. But this is the guy that boxing fans, the hardcore fans, want to see Inoue in with next. Now, you've got Sam Goodman on Christmas Eve, and you've got the reports of David Allen Picasso next year. Forget all that. No one wants to see that. We don't need to see mandatories. We don't need to see people paying sanctioning fees or people being pulled out of all over the place to get in with an Inoue for whatever reason. We want to see the best fights. And the best fight to make after the new year for an Inoue is to fight MJ. That's the best fight. And MJ on Saturday night, Dave, has to deliver to prove to the masses, to prove to everybody that he is the guy that's going to give an Inoue some jeopardy. Bit like Marlon Tapales. Now, he fought Marlon Tapales, I think it was back end of last year. He fought him last year, and it was a very, very super close fight. He lost on the split decision. He's come back now, and he's had 2 fights since, and now he's going in with another puncher in Franco. So there's a bit of jeopardy there. Eddie's probably carefully picked him for MJ to look good on. Now he has to make a statement, and then he has to rock the mic. I don't know if he can speak English or not. Obviously, he's an Uzbek. He's got that Uzbek style, southpaw, another Olympian who's got more medals without hot dinners. So he can get on the mic after, whether he does it or Eddie or his manager or whoever, and you need to force that fight. You need to force that fight. If you can't get that fight, and I'm jumping ahead, but I'm that high on Akhmadaliev, I think he's going to get the job done. Or you go down the route of Topales. Because now Topales was the only guy in recent memory, Dave, that actually sort of asked Inoue questions. And we said that on this podcast. He had an A plan, he had a B plan, he had a C plan. He tried to bamboozle Inoue a little bit, made Inoue think. And obviously Inoue is elite, and he was able to switch like that, and he got the job done. So if we beat Franco on Saturday night, Dave, we call out Inoue, we forget the David Picasso fights, and we get Inoue either in Japan, either in Saudi, wherever, I don't care, but this has to be made next. But MJ has to put on a show. If he looks shit, if he looks laboured, if he doesn't do what we expect him to do, if the skills that pay the bills go out the window and he's asked questions by Franco, then it's his own fault. He has to deliver on Saturday night, brother. He
does. And the thing is, say MJ's name's been branded around Inoue for a while, and you've had Bob Arum coming out going, "Oh, who?" and all that. He's, it started, and this is the reason he's not getting it now. Listen, he's under a good banner here with Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn can send sound to the Arabs, couldn't he? And if he wants to push for that fight, he's got a good man in his corner, because straight after the fight you'll see Eddie Hearn, he'll go off on a tangent. But he does need to perform, and he needs to be active. Like, say what you want about Inoue. Inoue is active, but he does go in with active fighters as well. Yeah, he does, and and MJ's will be a very hard sell when he's not active. He needs to, this is a big show for him. He has to perform, and then he has to be out again soon. Because like I say, Inoue's active, and he is. But Akhmadaliev needs to be around. Like you say, we've been doing this podcast for 1.5 years now, and we've not reviewed any of his fights. No. We've reviewed 4 of Inoue. So, and this is the reason why, yes, we want it, and there is people screaming for it. But it is. I can understand why it's not happening. So this needs to be the start of the pursuit of MJ getting this fight with Inoue. The activity is key, and also the fact you had it right. He needs to put on a performance here. I think he will. I think will. I think it's a decent enough opponent to go in with.
Here's one for you, Dave. Before you make your prediction, here's one for you.
Yeah.
We've seen Eddie do this time last year. Well, I don't know if it's this time. Last year, obviously, when we done the Monaco card review and preview, he put in not Shinga.
Not Shinga. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Curiel. Shinga obviously just won his title. He's supposed to showcase on a non-Mexican puncher in Curiel, and he got iced in 2 rounds.
That's right.
I hope this doesn't. I hope lightning doesn't strike twice again, Dave. I can't see it, but we didn't see it in the first fight. With,
you know what? The Monaco's been a little bit of a curse with things like that. I mean, remember with
Cordina.
Chisora went there, didn't he, and fought that French dude that ended up juicing like mad.
Oh that's a few years ago. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
That was on a Monaco card. And that wasn't meant to happen either. But there's a little bit of a curse on Monaco. Listen, hopefully it doesn't happen here. I don't think it will. But like I say, Franco's got enough about him that makes this fight. I wouldn't say jeopardy, but there's enough there for it. It's not a walkover. Now, but MJ could make it that.
25 knockouts in 30, and he's been stopped by Casemiro. So there's something there. There's something there.
That's what I say. It's not. He hasn't been put in with someone who's there just for a payday. Listen, I'm not saying that. I mean, there is jeopardy. There is and there isn't jeopardy. If you know what I mean. He's got enough on his record to suggest that he can hold his own. I just think that MJ's got more, and I think he's going to showcase it. He's on a good platform here. He wants to throw his name into the mix, and I think he's going to put on a good performance, and I think he's going to box beautifully. I think, and then and people are going to start thinking we already know because we know of him, but the fan that doesn't know of him, the nose of a new age going who. This is where he puts his name up and thinks, right, okay, let's pursue this and go for it. I don't think he's going to make this a statement win. I think it'd be a boxing statement win, but not a knockout one. I'm going to go for MJ. points, but comfortable points, and he's going to look good doing it. But I think Franco's going to more than hold his own, but not enough to win. Not for me.
Yeah, I understand. I totally get that. MJ, like you just said, the boxing performance, he's a skilled, busy southpaw.
Tony Yoka.
Yeah. Last time we heard of him, he was having a 6-rounder in Swindon. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, he beat Chisora and he wasn't meant to, and all this other shit. But yeah, the curse of Monaco. But anyway, sorry, mate, I interrupted you there.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I was just sort of waxing lyrical about what a skilled southpaw that's from Uzbekistan. A fantastic amateur career and Olympic medal is supposed to do. So yeah, I expect him to do it, but I'm going to sort of go one above your statement. I keep saying, I've said about 58 times already. It's crucial if he wants that Inoue fight. Inoue don't duck from anyone. There's certain parties that are keeping him apart, and I don't know why in this day and age when we've got Turkey that's making the best fights happen. So I'm going to go for MJ, and I'm going to go for MJ by stoppage. I'm going to go round number 7.
He can still make a statement without the stoppage, though.
He can.
Because of his boxing skills, I think he's going to. I'm going to say make him look see, but I think he's going to make it look easy and make it. And I think Franco will hold his own, but I just think the class will tell.
Class will tell. Yeah. Definitely not. Chef Clark's on this card as well. He's looking to make it 11-0. Last time we saw him in that close fight against that Nigerian pitbull, he called himself a poppy, which was quite close. I've seen people's reviews on that fight. Some said it was close. Some said it was one side to Clark. I thought it was quite close personally. Anyway, irrelevant to that. He's moved on now. He got the win, and he's fighting for the vacant EBU cruiserweight title. So good luck to Chev Clark. We'll talk about that. The guy you mentioned on the news the other day, Dave, Terramona Jr., the Australian. He's making his matchroom debut on here, so we expect a knockout. He's looks like he's going to be a great addition to the heavyweights rankings in the future. And we also see Maxi Hughes. And just quickly on this fight, Dave, this is an intriguing fight. So we saw Maxi Hughes at the beginning of the year get absolutely beaten up and busted by William Cepeda. It looked like he was going to call it a day. And then all of a sudden he pops up on one of these Izzy Azif GBM cards against some unknown Greek dude, gassed out of his arse. And in the round 6, he pulls out a punch from the gods and absolutely probably one of the knockouts of the year. Not many people have seen it, but it will be mentioned in our review show. And absolutely a peach of a shot and knocks him out cold. He's got back into contention now. To get back getting paid. He's going in against Gary Cully, who's also on a rebuild after he was knocked out by Jose Felix last year. This has got, again, Gary Cully's looking on the rebuild. Maxi Hughes is past his Indian summer. He looks like he's just an opponent now competing to get paid. I can see no honest in him, man. I'm not sold on Gary Cully. Now, we watched the boys the other night on SW Fight Club, Sam and Liam and Jay, the fantastic content that they do. And I was thinking about what they were saying, and then I'm sort of echoing what they're saying. I don't rate Gary Cully at all. They were saying that he looks the part. He's got the tattooed. He's very, whether you call him fit or whatnot. He just looks like a modern day 2024 boxer, stylish. But he doesn't seem to have the skills to pay the bills. And Maxi Hughes is, whatever version turns up of him, is capable of probably pulling up an upset. Cepeda and Gary Cully are two completely different fighters. Let's have that right. Yeah. But Gary Cully is not. I'm not sold. I'm not sold, and I can see Maxi Hughes here upset. I can see Maxi Hughes going one step forward and Gary Cully taking 2 or 3 steps back. Man, this is again. I spoke about rebuilds earlier. This again, the rebuild. I reckon it might stop. Even though I'm not making a prediction, I think the rebuild might stop for Gary Cully. I think Maxi Hughes might do a job on him, Dave.
Yeah, like I say, the old cliche, you're only as good as your last fight. He was down, looked like he was going into retirement, and he pulls a howitzer.
Yeah, basically.
And he's back in it, and he's back getting work. So good luck to him. I can see us talking about this fight on Monday. I've got one of these feelings where it's going to be one of these fights where we go off. Go and watch it. I can see it being an all-out war, really. I really can. I can see it being, it's not for a British title, but we talk about it amongst one of these British fights. And I can see it being a good scrap, that. I think there's pretty good matchmaking there. Yes, they're both on rebuilds, and they've got it all to play for, really. Their careers are in the hands of this fight. So, I can see it being a good fight.
Yeah, I think there's going to be setbacks this weekend for Gary Cully and for Alexis Rocha, I can see that happening.
Yeah.
That's your Monaco card. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, we're jumping over to Gibraltar of all places, on Sunday night, not Saturday. Live on DAZN. DAZN have picked this up yet again. Fair fucks to them. They are the home of boxing. I don't care what anyone says. Anybody poo-poos that channel. Without DAZN, you're not getting a lot of boxing content. There's nothing going on Prime or PBC. Boxer are very shallow in what they're doing. You're getting Frank's coming to the end of his TNT contract. It's all on DAZN. All on DAZN. So you're getting a bit. I wouldn't say it's a treat on Sunday night. You're just getting to see the body snatcher back in action. Don't know what's going on with his band, Dave. Obviously, Dillian Whyte popped hot yet again, going into the Anthony Joshua fight, coming off that loss to Tyson Fury a few years ago. We haven't really seen him since. He had a fight against Bogdan Dinu, I think it was, over 3 rounds. Bogdan Dinu pulled himself out. No, not Bogdan Dinu. It was Christian Hammer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Christian Hammer.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's
Hammer. He was kicking off saying fight and all that, wasn't he?
That's right. And he's going in this weekend, guys, against a big Ghanaian in the name of Ebenezer Tetteh, or Ebenezer Good, as Dave likes to call him. Any hardcore boxing fans will remember the name Ebenezer Good or Tetteh. It was stopped in a round by Daniel Dubois back in 2019, which basically tells you a lot about the opponent Dillian Whyte's going in with on Sunday night, should I say, mate. So he was knocked out in a round in 2019. He hasn't got any old. He's got older, should I say. He hasn't got any better. What's Dillian doing here? What's he doing? Obviously, he hasn't got a license, or he can't get hold of a license. The case is still ongoing. That's why he's fighting in Gibraltar. He could have possibly been on that Monaco card as a name. He's fighting a rubbish fight. Dillian Whyte's 36 now. He's obviously smelt the pound coins going around with Uncle Turkey. He wants to get himself back into contention. I understand it's a small show he's on. I understand people have got to get paid. But this, how far does this go? How far does this go? Is this just to get a bit of ring rust off? For Dillian to look good, and then we start getting fights over in 2025 away from the UK, or if he can get his license back, where it's on hold, and then we can start getting on with Dillian Whyte's career, because he's not getting any younger himself, mate, and he wants names and he wants paydays, and this, to me, this isn't going very far. This is a rubbish fight.
Yeah, I can't get up for this, mate. I've got a bad feeling it's going to stink the place out.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I get a bad feeling it's going to be a poor performance. It's going to go the distance. I don't know, is it 10 or 12 rounds? I'm not sure. But
yeah, I don't know, you know.
I've got an awful feeling about this. It's going to be awful. I expect Dillian Whyte to win. I don't think there's any danger of that. But it depends on the performance. The performance could be everything. And even in his last fight, I know it didn't go long with Hammer. He does look slow and cumbersome to me now. The body snatcher, he really does. And what I've seen at Ebenezer Tetteh, he's not far off as well. I can just see this being a lot of holding, a lot of spoiling, a lot of hugging. So yeah, for me, I've got zero excitement for this. So yeah, I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna stick my neck on the line and say it is going to be a stinker. And I think that Dillian Whyte's going to win on points in an awful fight.
That's not good for him going forward.
No, it's not. No.
He's still got the name, to be fair to him. He's still got the name. If you called him out to fight a Coley next or somebody like that, it's still Doesn't look good. I'm going to give Dillian a bit of a. I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to knock him out in about 3 rounds. Yes, it is what it is, isn't it? I don't like saying it is because it doesn't mean it.
It's a hard sell on it. You know, like we're talking here now, and I'm like,
it's a hard sell. Yeah,
it's a hard one to even talk about. I've got to be totally honest. I mean, listen, nothing against Dillian Whyte. I think he was great over the years. But like I say, this is a hard sell, this fight. It really, really is. If he goes in with a name, you even like a Joe Joyce or anything, that starts.
Yeah,
you could get up for that. I hope he does do your prediction. I really does do, and then he starts to go in with a few names, and you can start building him up. But see if he has a stinker here, it's a long way back, man. Even if he wins, I mean. This fight here, if he doesn't knock him out, is a lose-lose situation for me with him.
You're 100% right, because if he wants to get himself back into the mix, he's not going to win a world title. When we saw him against Tyson Fury, yes, Tyson Fury, you could call him, well, obviously he's world-class or elite, whatever terminology you want to use with Tyson Fury. It was like chalk and cheese. He waited so long for that mandatory shot. He got it. Yeah. He had his training camp. He came in fresh and fit, and he was just schooled. He was schooled and knocked out. And it tells you whether we hyped Dillian too much. He had good wins. He took a dangerous fight against Alexander Povetkin, avenged that and things like that. But Dillian Whyte's a world level fighter, but he's not a world class level fighter. But you just said there, this would be very telling if he doesn't do a job on Tetteh, because the names you just mentioned there, Joe Joyce, I mentioned about Lawrence Okoli, obviously you may, because of the name sells, you may have the loser of Cabby against Zhang, Martin Bakoli. He doesn't beat these guys. He doesn't beat on the performance we see on the alleged performance we see against Ebenezer Tetteh on Sunday. So he's going to have to, again, a bit like we just spoke about Akhmadaliev, he's going to have to go in there and make a statement and say, I've been in the gym now. I've been training my ass off. You can see what I'm doing now. I'm ready to go. I've got a good 2 or 3 years left in my career. I am a name. I can still sell. I can still knock dudes out. Let's go. Let's get my full license. Let's get in the UK. Let's get in Saudi. Let's get in the States. Let's fucking go. Yeah. So I like Dillian Whyte. I've got nothing against him. I just think now his time's kind of gone. But if he wants to get back in the mix, as you rightly said, we keep repeating ourselves, he has to do a job on old Ebenezer good on Sunday night. He really does. He
does. And like I say, there's plenty of names out there as well. You've got like Fabio Wardleys and all these sort of guys are fun fights. Because to say what you want about Dillian Whyte, he's in the press conferences and stuff like that, and in the media, he speaks very well and he sells it very well. So if he was put in with them guys, he would sell the fight great, and he would get eyeballs on it. Yes, he is good on the mic. He would get eyeballs on it. But again, I've predicted this thing. I hope we don't, and then we can start seeing him in meaningful fights next year.
Yeah, definitely. So good luck, Dillian, on Sunday night. So that's your boxing preview for the weekend ahead, guys. We didn't mention the non-boxing question of the week, but I've got one to throw out to you guys, out to the masses. So the other week when we had one of our podcast episodes delayed, I was trying to fit it in because I got work and whatnot. I think it was one of the episodes when you had Dynarod out and all that kind of thing. And I said I had a couple of rants. One was about champagne and Prosecco. But I'm going down the football route. A couple of weeks ago, I watched a match in the Saudi Pro League, right? First time I've ever watched it. I was watching a women's game where people can laugh and joke and say, oh, you're going from women's to Saudi. I was watching a women's game. Arsenal, actually, I was watching. And I left it on and it came on the zone. And I couldn't tell you what the two teams were. I never watched it. I'd heard bad things about the Saudi league. So I thought, you know what? I'm not really into men's football at the moment, but there's not a lot else on. I can't be asked to get a Sky Sports stream or TNT. I'll leave this on. So I watched the first 45 minutes and I've got to admit, I struggled. Now, people can come at me saying, how can you struggle with that? You watch women's football. It's too slow. It's shit, blah, 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 blah. That's fine. Well, we're not talking about women's football. We're talking about the Saudi Pro League. Now, the amount of money that I don't know if Turkey's involved, but his counterparts are involved, mate. They've put a lot of money into that league at the moment. They've had ex-Premier League players going over there, paying them absolutely silly wages. I mean, N'Golo Kante was playing, Stephen Bergwijn and Fabinho. Now, from the optic test, what I saw, they're fucking creaming over there because they're playing on carpets, by the way. The first touch is gone. The effort's gone. The running's gone. They're just walking over there and just getting free money. Now, the standard of football was rubbish. And I think I mentioned it on our WhatsApp group. And I did say, or I might have said it talking to my dad and some other people, Queen's Park Rangers, or around about the bottom of the championship, they would win that Saudi Pro League. So here's my non-boxing question of the week, ladies and gentlemen. So anybody that's seen the Saudi Pro League, and I'm only going by one match, by the way, shoot me down in flames if you want. If Queen's Park Rangers were in the set, we'll ask this on Monday as well, Dave, on our podcast with the boys. Queen's Park Rangers, if they are in the Saudi Pro League next season or this season, would they win the Saudi Pro League? Yes or no? Before you vote, Dave, have you ever watched any of the Saudi League? What's your thought? Honestly, mate, I thought the standard of football was rubbish. I really do.
I haven't seen much of it. I've got to be honest. I've seen your odd clips of your Ronaldos. I think Sadio Mane's over there. All that sort of lot. I feel like it's probably the MSL of 20 odd years ago. You know, when you get the odd superstar that goes over there and try and build it up, but it's not great. It's similar to that. I don't think enough players would go over there to make it that good. It'd always be retirement funds.
That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't make the standard very good. They're putting so much money into it. I kind of feel sorry for him in a way because people say, how can you feel sorry for the Saudis? I understand what they're doing. It's working with boxing, but the football, put it this way, when you're trying to get all eyeballs on a country and all eyeballs on a sport, people are coming to watch boxing because Uncle Turkey's putting the best fights on in Saudi. And they're trying to put the best football matches on in Saudi, but I've had a nosy, but I'm not going back.
Yeah.
So it needs to be better. That's my point.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Do you know what they have done, though? You know, players and Messi's and your Ronaldos and all that, like marketing geniuses, because the amount of kits, I can't tell you who he played for. I've seen so many of them, that Saudi kit that Ronaldo plays for.
Al Hilal, something like that, isn't it? Or Al Nassr.
I've seen the kit, like the kids playing football that Ronaldo on the back of the kit. So that, you know, just that alone is brilliant for them. But it's very difficult to say QPR would win anything. And I've got QPR fans in my family, but they're fucking hell, they're having a stinker of a season. They've just beat Norwich 3-0, so they're out of relegation. But yeah, any other team in the Championship, you might get on board with it. You pick QPR, so they're
I'm being very bold today, but it'd be interesting how the result comes in next week.
Yeah, it'd be a good one. And you know what? The three people we've got on two of them are QPR fans. They'll probably say, well, QPR won't win fuck all, no matter what league they're in. But anyway, it'd be fun to ask it anyway. But yeah, they definitely, they look like they're going to get relegated from the Championship as we speak, but they definitely wouldn't get relegated from the Saudi League, I can tell you that. But I know it's tongue in cheek, but yeah, them QPR are fucking shit.
What I will say before we go on the Saturday, a positive. Uncle Turkey needs to go to those clubs I watched, and he needs to get those fans into the stadium on the 21st, because all those Saudi fans were singing, were dancing, were cheering. Bring that over to the boxing.
Yeah,
they were like the Brits without the alcohol inside them. Honestly, that was the positive of it. Whether they were a renter crowd, I ain't got a fucking clue. But they were shouting, they were screaming, they were singing, they were waving their flags. Bring that atmosphere over to Riyadh and it's complete the game. That's the only thing.
When the goalkeeper was doing a goal kick, they were going, "Oh, yo, shit, and all that."
As well as, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's louder than hearing a pin drop, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't matter what noise you make, as long as you're making noise.
Correct. Right. Well, I've got to piss off to work now. I'm guessing you've obviously got your work uniform on as well, but you'll be having a David Gower, as you like to call it.
David Gower, yeah.
So, anything else to add, mate? We spoke on Monday. You're going out on the piss tomorrow, aren't you?
It's my work due. It's my official work due tomorrow. So, we might have a little bit of chat about that on Monday. So I've just got to go and iron my shirt and stuff ready for tomorrow and have a shower and a shave and stuff. I've got to shave my head. I'll be completely bald in about 20 minutes. And
is it still loafers and Ben Sherman's? Remember all that when we were young? Remember that?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah, Ben Sherman's shirt and a bit of cool water.
It weren't cool water, it was Duke, wasn't it?
Duke, yeah.
I
bought Alfie a bottle of that a few years ago and he come in, he went, "Where's my cold water?"
What did you say in the fridge, mate?
Yeah, it's in the tap, you Wally.
I tell you what, it was good for pulling the birds, though, wasn't it?
Oh, mate, wet floor signs all over the place.
Right, I think this is where we end it now, mate. That's the end of episode 88, ladies and gentlemen. You know where to find us on YouTube. You know where to find us on your audio feeds, your Spotify's, and your Amazons. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and obviously share us. I can't remember. Did I say that at the beginning, or did I just skip that bit?
No, you skipped that.
That bit. So make sure you do it now. You're at the end of the episode, ladies and gentlemen. You've had fun, and that's why you're still here. Like, share, subscribe, click. Please. We're an independent podcast. The numbers are growing. I see a lot of you now are going over to YouTube rather than the audio feed, which is fantastic. You prefer to see our ugly mugs rather than listen to us. So keep doing that and keep sharing. And we will be back next week, next Monday, for a brilliant episode. We're going to have a laugh. We've got Free the Phoenix 5 on, which makes all five of us together. But as I said before, it'd be more of a casual look. It'd be more of those guys talking about how they saw the first fight and how they see the second fight going. We'll have Drink of the Week, which is something I take out from one of my old podcasts with Paul. And we'll have a fantastic 90s football quiz at the end. So it's a bit of a Christmas special, really, Dave. Which should be really good. So anyway, guys, I'm keep waffling. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. And as I always say, enjoy the bloody boxing. Dave, peace out, brother. Have a great piss up tomorrow night, mate.
I will do, mate. I'll have one for you.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye, mate.